Oh, oh God. Oh my God. What day is it? Sunday. I've been sitting on my computer nonstop for 2 days watching the trailer? Oh my God. Well, now that we're all here, this is a brief disclaimer. The video you are about to watch is not the leaked trailer for the upcoming Godzilla 2014 movie. It is my opinions on it. So if you're looking for it, I apologize. This is not it. You're going to have to take your problems elsewhere. Please don't leave nasty comments being like, post the fucking trailer. I don't feel like getting a copyright strike or being destroyed by Legendary, so I don't have the trailer. So if you're looking for the trailer, take it elsewhere. These are my thoughts on it. But anyway, let's talk about the leaked trailer for Godzilla 2014. Hello everyone, I am Zazubaar, and on May 16th, 2010, I posted a little video. As a young Godzilla fan from New York, I had heard through the grapevine of the internet that a little company called Legendary Pictures was producing a modern-day version of Godzilla, an American reboot to my favorite fictional character of all time. Now, I had been following the story surrounding this movie via YouTube channels such as DeviantSun13 and websites like Godzilla2012.blogspot and Bleeding Cool News. And on May 16th, 2010, I decided, fuck it. I am going to make my own video expressing my thoughts, concerns, and desires for the new movie. If I had been following and having my own private hopes and dreams during the time of following the other news stories and websites and YouTube channels. So I said, fuck it, I'll do it myself and make my own videos and express my own thoughts. And it turned out to be one of the best decisions I ever made as a YouTuber. Those videos got me so many new friends and subscribers and allowed me to interact with people I never would have met if I had not been for that video. Now, why am I bringing all of this up? Well, I would just like to point out that video came out almost 4 fucking years ago. Over 3, going on 4. So, holy shit, this movie has been waiting, giving its, or taking its sweet-ass time coming out. And it's not even out yet. We just got our first look at the movie, and oh my God, has it been a long time. But as the old sayings infer, patience is a virtue, because holy fuck were those 4 years worth it. Every little hope that these videos, these old videos of mine, this younger Bill Wurster had been expressing about this movie, almost all of them seem to have been subconsciously heeded by Gareth Edwards and the production team behind the Legendary Pictures Godzilla movie. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the leaked trailer for Godzilla 2014 has just hit the webs 2 days ago, and oh my God, is it sweet. Holy shit. I don't even know if I can put it correctly into words, which is why I've been dancing around it. Because it's so insane that almost every single thing that us fans have been saying about this movie, the things that we think it should be, what we think this version of Godzilla should be like, how faithful they should be to the original, seems to have been, like, completely understood and acted upon by Legendary Pictures, because everyone's been saying we want a dark, gritty Godzilla. We want the real Godzilla, not that 98 Americanized, watered-down bullshit. We want insane levels of destruction, and we want more than one monster. And we want the nuclear allegory brought back and expanded upon. And every single one of those things I just said, this little less than a minute long trailer, or maybe it's a little over a minute, does that. And it implies that this movie is going to be, that's what this movie's going to be. Point number 1, dark and gritty. This trailer is, if anything else, dark and gritty. Everyone on the internet that I've been reading, and I just want to apologize that this video took so long to be made. I mean, I would like to say that it was because I've been spending 2 days constantly rewatching the trailer, not having moved from my computer, but if that were true, I'd probably be dead. But actually, I've just been insanely busy, and of course I've got to be insanely busy when something like this hits the internet, when I would think, oh, as soon as I see it, I'm hopping online, making a video, expressing my thoughts, and simply wasn't possible. I've been just insanely busy and pissed that I haven't been able to be more active on YouTube with this big news coming out. And, you know, I wanted to sit on it kind of in the back of my mind because I wanted to let my nerdgasm, as it can be aptly described, kind of fade. So that way I can think, why am I nerdgasming aside from the fact that it's a new Godzilla thing? And I think that it's the simple fact that they got it so fucking right. And this trailer, and I'm sure the movie will even more so, screams, we are Godzilla fans, and this is the movie we want to see as Godzilla fans. And the dark and gritty nature of it really, really sings to that. Because just from the opening text of Legendary Pictures and Warner Brothers, the logos, you can immediately tell that these guys love Godzilla. Because it's so, and they want a dark, gritty Godzilla that pays homage to the original, and all this other stuff. And it's just so obvious because the very text is dark and gritty. It's like this curved, paint splotchy kind of text that you would see on an old school Godzilla poster from the 60s and 70s. And it was just so cool to see that as a Godzilla fan in a 2014 movie trailer by an American company. It's just insanely, insanely satisfying. And the very opening images of the trailer are nothing more than wrecked cityscapes, burning buildings, giant clouds of black smoke, dead bodies, buildings torn in half, crushed trains, a field of dead people, and also an image of peoples crawling out of rubble, helping each other to get out of this rubble, and the city is just leveled. This is the real Godzilla. This is how you do Godzilla in a modern context. Everything that this trailer shows is like, this is the modern Godzilla, this is what he's like, and this is how, if we take the original character and bring him in a modern day, this is what it would look like. And that's what makes it so satisfying. That's what makes it nerdgasm worthy. And also the thing that really, you know, this is all topped. A lot of trailers, a lot of movies in general, are greatly assisted in their tone by their music score and by their soundtrack accompaniment, you know, being both music score, sound effects, sound design, I suppose is the generic term. And this trailer uses its sound design insanely well. Number one, haunting, haunting music. I've been reading that it's from 2001: A Space Odyssey, which is a movie I haven't seen in ages. So, I didn't really recognize it at first, but that sounds about right. Because the music is just so fucking haunting and very, very soft, but intense. It's building up. It's perfect for a trailer because it seems to be building up to a giant reveal. And guess what that giant reveal is? So it's very haunting music played over haunting imagery of just destroyed modern cities and just fucking fire and dead bodies. And to put the icing on the cake, so to speak, the voiceover that we've heard of for over a year now, that we finally get to hear over actual footage of the modern Godzilla, Robert Oppenheimer's famous speech when he first unveiled the atomic bomb. I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. And it's just so powerful. It's such a powerful, powerful piece of footage. Because there's just so much emotion going on under the surface of this otherwise very simple trailer. We don't know anything about the movie's plot by this trailer. We don't know anything about the story. We can guess, but we don't know anything about the story. We don't know anything about the characters. All this thing is, and Legendary has called it that, is a mood piece. And to set up a mood, I have never seen anything that sets up a mood this well. The atmosphere of this trailer is fucking spot on. It is so close to the original Gojira that you would think Ishiro Honda himself directed this. And Oppenheimer's fucking narration is so well placed that, again, you would think that this is what Ishiro Honda would do if he were still alive and were given the task of making a modern version of Godzilla. Just the idea of making the nuclear allegory and his atomic origins and the impact of it so integral to the tone, again, it's perfect. It's spot on. And you can't help but watch this trailer with your mouth open, with just your jaw hitting the floor. Just because, holy fuck, what's going on? And I think Oppenheimer's haunting speech in that music really helps in that. Because you just feel, you start to feel small. Which, as a Godzilla fan, is a feeling I always had as a kid, and even to this day, whenever you watch a Godzilla movie, is when you just feel small compared to Godzilla. And that's what this trailer really evoked to me. And the final, well, not the final image. I just want to say this one last thing about, before we get to the big meaty part of the trailer. I kind of went through a list of bullet points about what I thought Godzilla should have been all those years ago, and how this trailer succeeds in that. I think we did the dark and gritty, we did the nuclear allegory, we did the destroyed cityscapes. I think the only other one that we didn't hit was the inclusion of more than one monster. Because obviously Godzilla's legacy in popular culture, potentially even more so than the nuclear allegory, which is a little sad and has given Godzilla kind of a bad and inaccurate reputation amongst more average movie fans and people who just don't know the character, is him fighting monsters and you know, protecting the Earth and all that stuff. The typical Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla-esque Godzilla characterization, where he goes around beating up other monsters and saving Japan and going back and destroying it at the same time. And that's a huge part of his legacy. And while it gave Godzilla a little bit of a bad reputation, you can't ignore that legacy. Because there are way more Godzilla movies with more monsters than just him in it than there are with just him in it. So, there are 2 Godzilla movies where it's just him. So, as opposed to almost 30. So, and almost 60 years of the character. So, to ignore that legacy would be kind of silly. And, well, as I said from the beginning, I was all for and would have preferred a solo Godzilla movie where he was the sole monster in it. I also kind of said at the same time, doing more than one monster opens up a lot more you can do with this movie story-wise, a lot more ground you can cover, a lot more meat to pack in. But the concern I had with that was, if you pack in all that meat, is there still room to develop Godzilla as the main focus? And based on this trailer, that's exactly what they're fucking doing. Because it's just so perfect how they set it up. So you have all this narration by Oppenheimer, and then they do this pan across the destroyed cityscape, and it goes into this object, and you don't know what it is. It's covered in fire. And it passes it, and Oppenheimer goes, he's talking about the Hindu Bible at this point, and he goes, when Vishnu took on his multi-armed form, and they pan over, and they show you this dead body of this gigantic monster with multi-arms, and you're just like, what the fuck is that? And that narration going over that shot, you're just like, whoa, what's going on here? What does that mean? What's this movie going to be about? And you're just freaking out because you're like, that's so fucking cool. And then, once he says, then he goes, I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. They cut to black. And you hear a very familiar sound coming from your computer speakers. You hear what was Legendary's take on Godzilla's classic roar. We'll get to that in a minute. But anyway, then they cut out of the black, and another music cue comes up. That's this big build-up going, and there's nothing but smoke, and then slowly you see a shadow start to arise from the fucking from the smoke. This silhouetted form that you're like, what the fuck is that? Very slowly it starts to come out, and it starts to vaguely resemble the shape of a giant claw. And it comes out through the smoke. The figure starts to turn around. The smoke starts to clear. All of a sudden, you see gigantic spikes coming through the smoke. The camera starts to pan up as the body continues to turn to the left. And then finally, they pan up. The spikes move back, and you see this enormous head, and you hear the roar again. And then the title screen comes up, Godzilla. And that is when you nerdgasm. That's the moment where you're like, holy shit! Ah! That is when Godzilla returns to the big screen. And it's just, they fucking got it. That's the only thing that I can really bring up, you know, with my own thoughts that would be accurate without sounding like I'm understating. They got it. They got it perfect. This is the modern Godzilla. They got it perfect. There are some nitpicks you could have with it, and we'll get to that in a minute because they are worth mentioning. But they fucking got it. This is the real Godzilla. It's a destroyed cityscape. They fucking got it. And as a Godzilla fan who's been mocked all your life and been, said like, oh, the character isn't worth anything. According to these guys and according to us, he is worth something. And this trailer is a whole lot of something. It's just amazing. It is perfect in almost every way. As a Godzilla fan, you're just like, they're gonna fucking get it right. And in terms of making you excited for the goddamn movie, it does more than that. You're just like, I'll pay you my money. I will pay $1,000 to see this movie. Not really. Movie tickets are expensive enough, but you're just like, take my money. Take all of my money now. I need to see this thing. It's fucking great. But now that we've kind of covered all the ground, I think that it is worth mentioning a couple of little nitpicks that a lot of Godzilla fans have had. Now, let me just say a brief disclaimer. These are nitpicks. As I said, this trailer is almost perfect in terms of the mood it's evoking and what it looks like they're going to do with Godzilla. So, everyone take the following nitpicks with a grain of salt and understand that they do not impact my excitement or high hopes for this movie at all. This movie looks like it's going to be perfect. Or great, I suppose. Not perfect in terms of, like, oh, it's going to be a 5 out of 5 movie. We don't know that yet. But it looks like, at least in terms of the characterization of Godzilla, they fucking got it. But it is worth mentioning some little nitpicks. Number one, there's really only two major things, and they both involve Godzilla. Number one, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the roar. I like the roar. It starts out basically like a classic Godzilla roar, with the high-pitched cry. The Godzilla roar is essentially a crescendo decrescendo, where it goes done and then done. And, of course, it has the different inflections depending on the era of the Godzilla roar. And this one is kind of weird. It's the major thing that sticks out when you watch the trailer. Because it's the first notice you get of specifically Godzilla. And it's not the classic roar. So here's essentially what they do, breaking it down for people who haven't had the opportunity to watch the trailer or hear the roar. It goes classic, and then I want you to imagine if they tried to turn Godzilla's roar into the equivalent of a whale call. It gets very, very bellowy, almost sounding like it's underwater towards the latter half of the roar. It sounds very, very unusual. And as aptly described by Adam Noyce on Facebook, fucking artificial as hell. It's not a great roar. It is, you can hear Godzilla in there. It's not like they're abandoning the roar. No, not at all. It just sounds like they took what they had. Because again, this is something I keep forgetting to mention, and it's a big point. This is not the official trailer. And I can't believe it's taken me 20 minutes to say that. This is not the official trailer. Last year, myself and the rest of the Sons of Zazubaar reported that, and a bunch of other people on the internet reported that fucking, this is the trailer that was shown at Comic-Con last year as a mood piece, as a concept trailer, as Gorzard said. So, this is not the official trailer for the movie. This is a mood piece, a concept trailer for what we're going for. So, everything in this movie is not even kind of... Everything in this trailer is not even kind of finalized. It's just like, this is our direction. So, criticizing the roar and criticizing the look of Godzilla is a little bit kind of like... It's not really valid anymore because it's been over a year and we don't know... well, we do know what Godzilla's going to look like now because they fucking showed the fucking promotional cardboard standee. So, we know what he's going to look like now, but we can't base all of our thoughts on this thing because it's not official and it's not the finalized everything. So the roar is the big point because we know the design is different now because we've seen the final design. And we talked about that on the Sons of Zazubaar podcast number 4. So if you want to hear my thoughts on that, go check out that podcast. But I'll just say here, I liked it. I liked it a lot. It's fucking Godzilla. But the roar is the worrying point because we don't know if they've changed it. Because there's been no indication, and we haven't seen the actual trailer, which I heard today, I believe is going to be actually come out, like the official legendary trailer is going to come out on November 3rd. So, less than a month away. Fucking awesome. So I'll definitely do another video then. But the roar itself in this trailer, if they haven't changed it, I'm a bit like, ugh. It's not a great roar. It just sounds very artificial. They fucked with it too much. I mean, it's like, in order to make Godzilla's roar scary, you don't have to fuck with it that much. And it just sounds like they were like, ooh, we're gonna... It almost sounds like an audio student playing with... They're like, here's Godzilla's roar, play with it as an assignment and to learn how to use the audio equipment. And that's what it sounds like. It just sounds very, very fucked with, I suppose. And it's just, ugh. Now, the more you watch the trailer, like, once you first watch it, you're like, what the fuck is that shit? I mean, you know it's Godzilla, you're like, oh my god, it's Godzilla. But at the same time, you're like, what the fuck's wrong with his roar? And the more you watch it, I'm gonna be honest, the more it kind of grows on you. It's not great. I don't know, though, if this was the final roar... I could probably live with it. It's, again, not ideal. It's not even close to ideal. But it's passable. It's Godzilla's roar. You can hear it in there. And it kind of sounds to me like a very big experiment. I think that's the word I'm looking for, experimental. Which is fine, because this is very much an experimental trailer. The roar itself... It sounds experimental in that it sounds like it's a Godzilla fan trying to make Godzilla's classic roar sound like the original roar. Because if you watch the original Gojira, it's not the classic roar. It's this very bellowy, prototypey roar that's very, very below the basement in terms of tone. And Godzilla didn't get his classic roar until King Kong vs. Godzilla, and even then it wasn't the finalized one. I think Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster is like, this is Godzilla's popular roar. And everything before that was kind of the building blocks to get to it. And back when they did the Heisei series, they kind of went back to basics with it and did a mix of classic and original by starting out with classic and then going into this very bellowy roar. which it sounds like that's what they're trying to do with this roar, which is fine. I love the Heisei Godzilla roar, and if that's what they're trying to do, this isn't a bad place to start to get there, but it just sounds too prototypey. It doesn't sound like it's actually coming out of an animal. That latter half that sounds like it's underwater sounds like someone's like, wouldn't it be fucking cool if we did Godzilla's roar as if it was coming out from underwater? And if they just used it for when he's underwater, that would be awesome. But based on what we see in the trailer, it doesn't look like that's where it's coming from. So, I don't know, that was a little weird. But it sounds like they're on the right path. I'll put it that way. It sounds like they're heading in the right direction to get to the ideal modern Godzilla roar. But again, it sounds a little bit like an experiment to get from the original Godzilla to the classic Godzilla to the Heisei Godzilla to a modern realization. And it sounds like they're kind of falling somewhere in between some of these different roars. So hopefully they'll find their ideal one that'll fit their Godzilla design. That's my big thing. They need to find a roar that's going to fit their design. And seeing how their design looks very Heisei Godzilla, I think that their closest bet is to kind of do what it sounds like they're doing and just kind of find a happy balance between the classic roar and a more bellowy roar. So hopefully they'll find that balance, and this isn't the final roar because it's not very good. But again, if it was, again, it is a Godzilla roar. I hope that they play with it, but I could definitely live with it as it's easy to get used to, I think, the more you watch the trailer. I know some people aren't going to agree with me, but I think that you can get used to it. But again, I hope it's not the final roar. Now, I was going to talk about Godzilla's design, but seeing how this isn't the final design and how we have the final design and how I've talked about it already, it's not really worth mentioning, but it's fucking Godzilla. It's not, again, it's worth nitpicking in terms of where they take some liberties, mainly in the head. Again, it looks like Godzilla, but there's some parts of the head where you're just like, ugh, what's going on there? Especially with the neck. The neck looks fucking enormous, almost like... It almost looks like Orga in a weird way. So hopefully they have. Again, we've seen the final design, so it's kind of ridiculous to say these things, but I'll say them anyway. It almost looks like Orga. So hopefully they've changed that for the better, make it a little less stocky. But again, the big thing that was in this trailer that we didn't get with that image of the final design in this trailer is Godzilla's bulk. Because that shot I was talking about earlier where he turns around away from the camera to roar, you see a good portion of his midriff. And the arms look enormous. He turns around, and again, we know it's going to be real Godzilla because A, he's standing erectly on two legs, and the arms are outward, and it looks like he could grab something. And his muscles look big and fucking... He looks like the Heisei Godzilla, very much so, which is a good thing, because that's my favorite Godzilla design. So, it's just really... It's perfect. Just the midriff alone, you're just like, holy fuck, that's Godzilla! So, it's fucking good. It's fucking cool. It really gives off the right impression, so... we've been going for about a half hour now, so I think we better start to wrap up because I'm kind of just nerdgasming now. But guys, it's fucking Godzilla. This trailer really put me in a good mood over the weekend, and I'm beyond excited for the film now. I mean, it's what we've been waiting for. Everything us fans on the internet have been praying for with this movie. This is the answer to our prayers. Godzilla's coming back to the big screen in a big bad fucking way, so get ready for it, kids. Because it's going to be huge. So, anyway, until the real official trailer comes out, I think that's going to about do it. So, anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I hope that all of you at some point in the coming week get to somehow watch the trailer. You know, contact some of your online buddies. I'm sure someone has downloaded it. So, go ahead and, you know, message around, email around your friends, see if someone has downloaded it, and see if they can give you a download file, because it's worth fucking watching if you're a Godzilla fan, so go ahead and check it out. Anyway, until we get the official trailer, I'm Zazubaar, sayonara.